In every generation, there are people that come together to be in this conversation. And in every generation, there's what I would call a power history and an amor history, right? A love history. There's the history of power and there's the history of love. And although power and love are not opposites, and I pointed that out all the time, and we need to reclaim power in her integrity, and love itself is filled with power. Those are all absolutely true, and we've talked about them a lot. But for the moment, I want to talk about power as surface power and love as depth love. Of course, there's depth power and there's surface love. But for now, right, in this moment in time, let's just access love as the depth, not as ordinary love, but as literally the love that moves the sun and other stars and is alive in me and is finding its way, is self-organizing reality, is guiding, is moving, right, is constellating, is opening us up, right, is actually the pathfinder, the guide, right, the compass, right, the North Star, right, that actual love that is in this very second literally holding your body together, 37 trillion cells, right, an unimaginable amount of neurons are moving in you, right, slightly less than the amount of stars in the sky are neurons inside of you with a level of interconnectivity that's unimaginable, in which every neuron knows what every other neuron's doing in every second. So you're a galaxy, and that connectivity between neurons is based on allurement. It's based on an instant knowing. It's based on love. It's based on eros, right? That interconnected galaxy that you literally are right now is animated. If you could feel it pulsing and throbbing inside you, it's animated by desire and love. The neurons seek each other. They're allured to each other. The protons and the neutrons, hadrons, leptons, muons, are in configurations of allurement. It's the power of love, and you come together yourself as a unique configuration of eros, of intimacy, of desire, of allurement. You're literally, as am I, you're a force of love unlike any other. And when you get distracted, we call that pseudo-eros. When you get really distracted, you seek to murder eros. Right? When I'm distracted, I try and find something wrong. And then there's all sorts of small ways we move to murder eros. And the murder of eros is a fundamental force in society. It's the shadow of cancel culture, for example, one of its shadows. Right? It's the shunning, it's the excommunications that happened in the religious world. Right? It's the we are right and they are damned. There's no redemption, said Augustine, outside of the church. Everyone else is outside. Right? It's the pluralistic level of consciousness that lives both on the left and the right that says, right, we pretend to be pluralistic, but really we got it right and you got it wrong. And you guys are so bad. And that's the source of polarization. And you murder the eros, the aliveness and the life vision of those people that seem to be so close to you. Right? The murder of eros is very deep, and we're going to talk about how it works and what it means. And until we recognize the murder of eros, we can't move beyond it. And David's going to resonate that code. But let's find each other now. Let's find each other there's the history of eros. There's erotic history. But by erotic history, we don't mean sexual history. We mean the history of eros, right? The history of love. Love as eros, as amor. And then there's power history in the sense of surface power. Those are two different histories. And there are two different stories. The story that our colleague Yuval Harari tells in Homo sapiens is the story of power history. It's driven by narrow egoic self-interest or ethnocentric self-interest. And the story we're telling is the story of Homo amor. It's the story of amor history, right? It's the history of love. It's the story of eros. Those stories are happening right by each other. They're right next to each other. And actually, they're not as separate as they seem. Sometimes, right, dimensions of power history enter love history, and love history is always playing in its own way in power history. But at their core, there's these two movements in cosmos. Right? Wow. part of the larger one. And what we need to do is we need to bring those movements together. We need to bring power and love together, where love is animated with such power and power is animated with such love that they become not two histories, but one history. Right? That is our vision. That's what we're about. And we can only do that not by declaring it. Declarations, right? Declarations are always suspect. You declare something when there's nothing behind it. Okay? That's why countries would declare, right, when the conquistadors, right, came to the New World, right, in the Americas, they declared, right, before they would massacre and rape and burn and pillage, they declared, right, the demands of the King of Spain and his sovereignty. Those were called the declarations of the conquistadors, right? Google declares its right to gather all of your personal data, to organize it based on machine intelligence, and to sell predictive analysis of what you'll do, right, to advertisers all over the world without your permission. And Google did it based on 6 declarations of Google that says that they have access simply because no one's declared a law against it. They declare that they have a right to all that information. This is not a declaration we're talking about here. We don't want to declare this. And this is based on the deepest knowings we have in the interior and exterior sciences of the great traditions, of modernity and of postmodernity. We bring insights from all of those. We weave them together. We don't declare this truth. This is actually the deepest knowing of science today, is that actually love and power come together, and that we're unique expressions of love power. So let's create a new word together, love power. Who's up for writing that in the chat box? Love power, it's one word, right? Capital P, capital L, capital P, love power. We got that? That's it, love power, love power. Okay, so let's access that. Can we just access love power together, all of us, right? Just write, if you got it, write love power, right? I'm a unique expression of love power. I'm a unique expression of love power. That's who I am. I'm a unique expression of love power that never was, is, or will be ever before again, right? We are one love and one communion, right? We're the communion of amor. In some sense, we're one love, we're one power, right? We're one communion, right? Wow. And we bring together, right? The Cathars in the 12th century, they called their church the Church of Amor, and they had a hidden book of love, right? Wow. So we take a dimension of the Cathars, we take a dimension, right, of the great Sabbatian movement, right, that actually declared love at the center. And we leave the shadows aside. The Cathars had shadows. The Sabbatian movement had shadows, right? We claim the Shakti of Kashmir Shaivism, which is the love particles that actually animate and drive reality in Abhinavagupta's great thought. We claim the love implicit in Vajrayana Buddhism. We claim the love implicit in particle physics, right? And the notion, the realization, right, that reality at the subatomic level is driven by allurement, and that the subatomic level is not, as I'm sharing with my friend Emil these days, I owe him an email, right? The subatomic level is not the only place that quantum reality plays. It plays actually in the macroscopic world as well. We're learning that more and more. We actually know that actually allurement is, right, the driving force of cosmos. Cosmos is a field of allurement. Well, love power, right? That's our intention. And we are, and I want to say something with your permission, audacious. I want to bring in a term that's rejected, right? But it's rejected by a superficial mainstream, but a much deeper cut of reality, right? A new mainstream is emerging that actually realizes, without kind of a blithe or arrogant or supercilious or superficial rejection, it's actually realizing there's an enormous amount of data. And this data speaks about what Ian Stevenson at the University of Virginia called reincarnation. That actually soul groups reincarnate, right? They reincarnate and they come together again. There's an enormous amount of evidence, right, for this that didn't exist 120 years ago. So that has nothing to do with woo-woo. It has nothing to do with New Age. It's hard data science, right, in which Occam's razor, the best explanation we have of reality, is that it's not over when it's over, for lots of reasons, and reincarnation is part of that. So I want to make a suggestion to you that I can feel in my body, and see if you can feel it with me. We've been together before, friends. Everyone, right? In one love, one communion, we've been together before. Can you feel it? Who can feel that? Can anyone feel that? Who can feel that? Can you feel that? We've been together before. right? We've done this before, right? We've tried this before, right? And it hasn't always gone well. The murder of Eros. And think about the Cathars. Think about the Sapiens. Think about all the radical movements towards love, right? Think about the utopians, right, in different generations. Think about the people who were ahead of their time, right, in Kashmir Shaivism, in Buddhism, in Christianity, in Taoism, in Confucianism, right? Wow. Right? There's been bands of outrageous lovers through history. But this time, my friends, for the first time, everything's at stake. We got to bring everybody with us. We got to create a large tent. And we've got to go the whole way in this lifetime. Right? That's the intention, with your permission, with tears in my eyes. Right? If you can feel the tears, we can cry them with me, but they're tears of joy and they're tears of urgency. Right? I want to set an intention. Can we set an intention together with everyone's permission? Our intention is to go the whole way in this lifetime. Right? Amor. Right? We are the one love, one communion. We're the communion of amor. That amor is that which animates the cosmos, right? And which lives in us, as us, and through us. And we are the leading edge of amor, and we can take responsibility for the whole thing, even as we're held in every second. So here's the question. Are we ready to play a larger game? Right? Are we ready to go the whole way in this lifetime? Can you feel that? I can feel that. Are we ready? This is our lifetime. Are we ready to go the whole way in this lifetime? Right, to not get caught in the missing tile syndrome. Oh, this is wrong, that's wrong. Yeah, we'll deal with all that. But are we ready to step in to actually feel the ecstatic urgency of the evolutionary impulse living in us? And the impulse of evolution is the thrill, the responsibility, the urgency, the delight of creating the future, of accessing the memory of the future, of actually taking responsibility for the future. Wow. Wow, we're going to take responsibility in the best way we can, held by forces unseen and mysteries larger than us, and yet those mysteries live in us. The mysteries are within us. Right? The sacred texts are written in our hearts and souls. Right? We are evolution. Right? Who can feel that? Right? I am the leading edge of evolution. I don't live in the world lives in me. I don't live in the intimate universe, although I do. The intimate universe lives in me. And to be evolution, I've got to feel the full power of the evolutionary impulse, right? I got to feel the full power of it. Right? Being the evolutionary impulse is where love and power come together. That's love power. You want to know what the evolutionary impulse feels like on the inside? It doesn't feel like love. It doesn't feel like power, right? That's an old binary split. That's a false split imposed on us by those who claimed the name in vain. That's not true. There's not love against power, right? Hendrix was awesome on the guitar at Woodstock, but he got it wrong. We're not waiting for the day when the power of love is greater than the love of power. That's true only in the superficial way that we started, when power is surface power and love is depth love. But at the deepest place, the power of love and the love of power are the same. Love adheres with power. Love is not weak, love is strong. Love is the most powerful force that ever was, is, or will be. It's real. And that's power, love power. And I'm a unique incarnation of love power.